Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your Direct Sales Domme, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rockstar direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the Direct Sales Domme, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast. I'm Jennie Bellinger, and I am a certified professional coach, also known as the Direct Sales Domme. So I'm going to assume that you listened to the welcome episode, also known as Who the Fuck is Jennie Bellinger? And so you know my direct sales story. Now I want to tell you about my journey into coaching. So a little bit about my professional background. I have a bachelor's in psychology with a minor in interpersonal communication. I then went on to get certified as a middle school science teacher, and I taught for 6 years at a location where I was the education coordinator. So that meant that I worked with students and also the teachers. So for 6 years, I worked as a workshop facilitator and trainer with educators, teaching them how to use the process that we were giving them. Then I had 2 years where I was consulting with major universities, also facilitating training workshops for educators. And then shortly thereafter, started my direct sales journey, which you heard a little bit about that story before. I was introduced to my company. I was with Park Lane Jewelry. I spent 7 years with that company as a rock star direct sales mom. You guys heard about all of the accolades and everything that I accumulated in the first episode. During that time, I became really good at sales. I was really good at recruiting, and I was great at training within the company. I was training for leaders from around the nation. Once my name became well known amongst leaders in the company, I was requested by leaders in Florida, Texas, New York, Connecticut, California to train their teams. So I often did this online. Nowadays, we all use Zoom, but back in the day, I was using GoTo. And I would help train their teams. Some of them I also trained on phone conferences. So also during that time, I helped onboard hundreds of new reps when there had been another direct sales company that had closed their doors. And our headquarter training team was just trying to keep their heads above water. So I was actually requested by my leader to jump in and train some of the people who had been added to our organization of over 1,000 men and women, mostly women. And I helped to train hundreds of these new people coming on board, learning how to use our system, our back office, learning the lingo, how to do a party, all of that stuff. And also then went on to help train the leaders on how to train their team with all of this as well. During that time, I became known as the promotion queen because my team did very well with promotions. And if leaders around my organization started learning, if they sent certain team members to me, they would promote in 60 days or less. And so I became very well known for that within the organization and had many leaders send team members to me to help them promote. From that, I had other direct sales leaders who started taking notice, and they started requesting my trainings and help with promoting, not only for themselves, but for their teams as well. I was a little less comfortable working with people from other companies because I didn't know their comp plans. And I thought that because I was not familiar with their company and their promotion strategies, that I wasn't going to be as effective. Well, that turned out to be completely false because really a great coach does not have to be an expert in their field. They just need to be an expert at helping their clients identify their goals, set out an action plan that they are willing to commit to, and then help hold them accountable and help them make course corrections as needed, because sometimes the plan that we come up with doesn't always work and we sometimes need to make adjustments. So, during this time, to get back to my story about why coaching, I started to meet coaches from all the networking that I was doing to help grow my business. And over time, I think it was over a period of about 3 years, I met 3 or 4 different coaches and consultants and started asking them questions about what they do, how they do it. And then I actually hired a coach myself. I hired her as my business coach to come in and help me work my direct sales business. What I learned is that she was not the greatest coach for me in the direct sales realm. And so that's what really started me down the road towards being a direct sales coach, because I realized that there were people who needed what I needed. And so I was willing to jump out of my comfort zone and move into that place, that space of being the direct sales coach that many people need and want. They just don't know that that exists for them. I finally picked a school, a coaching school that is a whole person school, because I realize that as direct sales professionals, we oftentimes don't have a place where we are going to work. We are doing our work from our kitchen table, our dining room table, our living room couch. And some of us are even smart enough to set up a home office and actually work from an office. But we still, because it's a home-based office, our lives bleed together, our relationships, we feel like we're constantly working. Our kids are jumping in and interrupting us when it's summertime and they are done with summer camp or vacation Bible school or wherever it is that they're going. So our lives all bleed together. So I knew that I couldn't just become a business coach. I needed to be a whole person coach who could help people with their lifestyle, with their health choices, with holding them accountable for their business, for their relationship choices that they are making, to help them with that. So that certification really allows me to work with people in the direct sales realm in a more complete way, because we are not focused on just business. Because I realized part of the reason that my coach and I did not work well is because, and I'm going to be honest, people, this is where you get to start to learn and really meet the real Jennie Bellinger. At the time that I was working with her, my marriage was starting to fall apart. And because she was my business coach, I did not share any of that with her. And had I shared that with her, that might have changed how we worked together. And she may have been an even more effective coach for me. So that also fed my decision for why I went into whole person coaching instead of just learning how to become a business coach. So for me, the purpose of this episode is not to sell me to you. The purpose is just for you to understand, why should you listen to me? Why am I effective as a coach? Why will this podcast be helpful for you? And really, I just expect and intend this podcast to be your own personal development. This is your way of getting to learn from lots of different businesses, lots of different business leaders. I will be talking to people from various companies and then also be sharing my expertise. I find that things happen in patterns with my clients. And so oftentimes some of these episodes will just be me monologuing like I am right now, sharing some tidbits of information with you, maybe some of my clients' stories with their permission, to be able to share some information to help you grow and shorten your learning curve so that you have the opportunity to grow without having to go through the growing pain as much. Because as you'll learn in the next episode, I am not a sadist. I am not about causing you pain. I want to help you grow without having to deal with the obstacles that the rest of us have encountered. Or at least if you encounter the obstacle, you have some choices about how to handle them because you've been listening to the podcast. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and close out this episode because I feel like I've really shared with you why I'm a coach. Why did I leave? Oh, well, I haven't really. Okay, scratch that. We're not quite done yet. I haven't shared with you why coaching. Why did I leave my direct sales business if I was so successful? Because that's a question that I do get from people from time to time. If I was so successful earning trophies and walking the stage and earning trips and all those bonus checks and doing very well for myself in direct sales, why would I leave? And really, it came down to I realized how much more passion I have for helping people succeed than even for my own success, which you'll really find is probably true for a vast majority of coaches. They really care about helping others succeed and really want them to be able to experience that success, because as you experience success, we as your coaches experience success. And so that is where we really find why I left my direct sales business, because I realized that I was very lucky. I had an amazing mentor who brought me into the business. She had been in direct sales for, I think, over 12 or 13 years at the time that I met her. So she's now been in direct sales for over 20 years. She is a dynamo leader. She is amazing because she doesn't just build a team, she builds a team of leaders. And I really learned that from her. And what I realized in talking to other people, especially people from other companies, is very few of them have a leader like my leader. And I just got to give her a shout out. Her name is Mary Grace, and she is amazing and really still to this day is one of my top mentors. And I am so blessed and lucky that we do still chat and talk from time to time and help each other out. So I certainly realized that not everybody has as wonderful an upline as I had. And so I obviously can't go out and join every company that's out there. So the easiest way for me to become the upline that everyone wished they had is to be the sales coach, because I know that there's going to be people who really need me who wouldn't have access to me unless I was in this position. And so that's why I chose coaching, because I really feel like I can make a much larger impact in the world, especially in the world of direct sales, if I'm here as a direct sales coach. So that's why I left direct sales for coaching, because this really is my passion, is to help you succeed, help you get there faster than you ever thought you could, because you're getting the knowledge that you might not have gotten otherwise, because your leader hasn't had the experiences that I have. Now, granted, your leader probably also has had experiences that I haven't had. So you're going to be getting the benefit of having your leader and me in your corner. So this is the end, episode number 2 of the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast. And I do want to make sure that you remember that if you do want to become part of the Badass community and become a part that is this group of people who are like-minded individuals who want to dominate their business, whip their business into shape with the Direct Sales Domme, please feel free to go check out badassdirectsalesmastery.com, and you will get preferred pricing for your first 30 days because you came in through the podcast. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you on the next Badass episode.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery podcast with your Direct Sales Domme, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the Dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.